Hey everybody, this is Stabguy from the Hidden Blade. If you want to learn how to run on your feet in QWOP, then you've come to the right place. This video does not contain fails, rage quits, or scrotum scooting. The controls for QWOP are shown right on the main screen. It says Q and W control the thighs, and O and P control the calves. Now some people have said these controls are simple, but these same folks can't answer basic questions such as whether the Q key moves the left leg or the right leg, and whether it moves the leg forward or backward. I contend that the answer is all of the above for all of the controls. Each one moves one leg forward while moving the other one backward. Q moves the left thigh backward and the right thigh forward. W does just the opposite. O bends the left knee while extending the right knee, and P is the other way around. By the way, Q and W also move the upper arms, but I think that's just for show. The arms don't really assist with balance like they do in real life. It doesn't make sense to press Q and W together. That's like hitting the brakes and the accelerator at the same time. So if you try it, it's the same as just pressing Q. And likewise, if you press O and P at the same time, the O button always wins. Now I'm going to simplify the controls even further. You really only need to know two controls in QWOP, left stride and right stride. To do a stride, press the buttons as shown simultaneously and hold them down. This feels natural because it's both your index fingers and then both your middle fingers, back and forth like that. Now when I say right stride, I'm referring to the power phase of the stride. That's where the right foot hits the ground and propels you forward. During the left stride, the right leg is in its recovery phase and comes forward with the knee bent. They say you have to walk before you can run. Well, in QWOP, I guess you have to march before you can sprint. This first technique is really good for beginners to learn how to stay on their feet. It starts with a right stride. So at the starting line, press W and O together and hold them down until it looks like this. Then switch to left stride. Proceed like this so you're always holding down one stride or the other. Your attention should be focused on the leading leg. To decide when it's time to switch strides, you can either watch for the leading thigh to be parallel with the ground, or you can switch just before the leading foot hits the ground, whatever works for you. Practice this technique and you should be marching 30 or 40 meters within your first hour. I don't have the patience to do it, but I know some people have marched the full 100 meters just using this simple strategy. It's relatively safe because you have this wide stance and it slows the game down so you have time to think about what you're doing. Balance is maintained by intentionally leaning back and planting that trailing foot on the ground like an anchor. And then gravity does the rest and pulls you back into an upright position. QWOP is a game of adjustments, and I want you to practice making your first adjustment while marching. Look at your leading leg. If the knee is bent sharply, then you're fine and no adjustment is necessary. But if the knee makes a nearly 90-degree angle, try pressing Q an instant before P. This will make your foot strike the ground farther back and give you a little more forward momentum. Once you're comfortable marching, then you're ready to try running. The key to going faster is to actually let go of the controls after every stride. You'll take shorter strides and get faster leg turnover. Let's go back to the starting line and look at a way to get out of the blocks faster. Start by tapping the O button, not W and O together, but just O. Tap it until the left foot nearly touches the right. Now do a short left stride and release the controls. Pause a moment while your weight shifts forward, then do a full right stride. Ideally, your right foot should stomp down flat on the starting line. Again, your focus should always be on the leading leg. When the knee comes forward into a good position, that's when it's time to release the controls. Start your next stride whenever it looks like the foot will strike the ground directly below your body. When everything goes right, it looks like this. Torso vertical, hips a comfortable height above the ground, even strides, minimal bounce. If you ever feel like you're losing control, you can always fall back on marching. Besides the leading leg, you should also keep an eye on your torso. Leaning backward is okay because there are two ways to correct it. The easiest is to drag your trailing foot on the ground. Just wait a little longer before starting your next stride, and that trailing foot will stabilize you like a rudder. The other way to correct backward lean is to press down on the thigh button slightly before the calf button, like we did back when we were marching. This moves the foot strike farther back. Forward lean is more dangerous and must be corrected in one stride before you fall on your face. The best thing to do is to bring a leg all the way through and immediately put it on the ground. I'm not going to lie, all this takes practice. I played every day for a week before I could run the whole 100 meters. Sometimes you get yourself into trouble, but instead of falling down, you manage to throw out a leg or something and stay upright. Then you find yourself stuck like this. You may be tempted to start crawling at this point, but I'm going to show you how to get back up on your feet and start running again. The first step is to put your thighs at a 90-degree angle to each other. So tap either the Q or the W button until the thighs are perpendicular. Now start typing one of the calf buttons to pull the leading foot in. If it's the O button, then get ready to do a left stride with the Q and P. Don't do the stride yet, just take your time and figure out which buttons you're going to press when the time comes. And if it's your right foot out in front, then tap the P and get ready on the W and O keys. Keep an eye on the trailing foot. When you reach the balancing point and that trailing foot starts to come up off the ground, that's when it's time to carefully take a full stride and you'll be off and running again. Works every time. I'm going to conclude this video with a sample 100-meter run. This isn't my fastest or smoothest run ever. In fact, I make several mistakes so you can see how I deal with adversity. I guess we can all learn from my mistakes. It's more instructive than watching someone just motor down the course. I'm not going to give you a blow-by-blow description. If you see something and don't understand how I did it, refer to the button icons at the top of the screen. They're animated and they show exactly when each button is pressed. I do want to say a few words about the hurdle. First of all, don't even try to jump over it. It's just there as an Easter egg, and you're meant to knock it down. My best advice is to not even look at it. Just focus on your feet and run your own race. The hurdle's more of a psychological barrier than a physical one. It doesn't have much mass, it goes down easily. My favorite thing is when you can kick it off the right side of the screen, it disappears, and you never have to deal with it again. But if you want to play it safe, you can always start marching at the 40-meter mark and resume running once you're safely past the hurdle. Alright, I'm going to sign off now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the Hidden Blade.